All right, now let's see, I thought I put close, there it is. So yeah, it's what, 3:07?
3:07, let's call the meeting to order. Karen, let's talk budget.
Yeah, I mean, we just met on Thursday, so to tell you the truth, I don't know that we really have a whole lot today. I think we've got some things that we can think about, but, and also without Amy, I don't know, really what we want to go. So just sort of a reminder that we still have, other revenues. I do see that the, planning board is meeting and they have on their agenda to look at building permit fees. So, however, just a reminder that before the warrant is printed and before you guys sign it, we would have to have those fees in place. You guys would.
So we have to vote on it.
So you would have to vote on them before, so really, you guys are looking at one of your March meetings if you are going to change the building permit fees, so that we know what to put in there.
But
For us,
Karen, do we need? Are the building permit fees actually in the ordinance, or are they written in a way that says that?
It's written in a way that says
the
the select board is the one
So-
who will change the fees.
So you mean the revenue estimates are when we
Correct.
talk about it?
Karen, I have a,
Okay,
we don't have to do it now, we have to do
there's
this.
a New Hampshire thing, we
I would have
we don't,
I would just like to.
we
have a list
present
of
revenues,
every-
but the final
every
revenues
place.
aren't voted
So
on
we can
until
get
we
these
set
from
the
the
tax
town.
rate,
I
that's
mean,
why, so I had to get that out of my head of,
Building permits,
how New
and I
Hampshire is.
just wonder.
Cause I would never
across
change
the
them
board,
anyways, because if I
everything
know
went
I
up,
need that for next
you know,
year's
15%, you know what I
unassigned
mean?
fund balance growth. But still, but the state would adjust certain numbers, cause the state had these DRA forms that they required you to fill out and then
So when
okay
you look
them.
in your town report,
Okay.
there is a revenue report in here.
Okay, good. I'll
And
take
it
it
is
home.
on, yep. So it's on page 48.
Okay,
And so you can
So-
look down through here and
Okay.
see what fees are.
I
I mean,
can
some of them are
simplify
killer.
it for
Marriage versus.
Whatever our fees were before, they'll be double what they are now,
Music.
which may
amusement,
be
and victuals,
less than some of
we
the
could
other
change
towns
those.
around
all I'm
us.
saying is that,
That
Yeah.
they haven't
If
been
you went
adjusted
across the
since
board,
two thousand
I mean,
eleven.
it's not gonna be a big number, but all of them combined, it
So-
will make a difference.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, so
Yeah.
if. Even if you don't have them, you can know that whatever our current revenues, fees estimate is, will probably be double.
And we also talked about adding or increasing the fee for Fort Madison, right, didn't you say?
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Fort Madison Back Shore, I mean, something that is for a private,
Okay,
I think we wanna, private function, I mean.
I'm hoping when we hire the economic development person, part of that person's job will be to get people to use these
Yeah.
venues more, so the fees would go up.
But
Put that
Well, what
on the
you-
agenda for Monday.
I
I
think
need to
what you-
get a meeting with you guys, an executive session to actually go over those, cause I want your input on these, and I now have about 6 applicants, so I'd like to
Oh.
get ahead of.
You got
those.
6 already, fabulous.
Yeah,
One of the things you have to remember is that when people first started asking to use Fort Madison, one of the things that we had a public hearing about it, I mean, maybe things have changed. But people said there is in there that there has to be a Castine connection. That was because they didn't want people coming in, just from wherever, bringing all of their own,
I get it.
caterer and all of that, and having absolutely no connection to Castine.
Mhm.
So people felt pretty strongly about, this is our land and we want our people to be able to use it.
I'm fine with that. I mean, there's
but I
some
think,
places that
I
are very
think-
sacrosanct here.
Yeah, and I think, fees, a couple $100 to use it, because we don't have, there are no facilities there at all.
But the back shore, like for instance, the back shore, I know that like the Briards do a party doing that almost every Friday night.
Yeah. Well, that's not really, that's, no, because that's just people getting together.
So an event would be if somebody did a wedding.
If somebody's doing a wedding, a bar mitzvah, where they're actually like setting up a.
That's just,
tent
that's just people
where-
hanging out, like,
Correct,
Okay,
correct.
so,
And there are people who will get married at Fort Madison, but it will be, like somebody who takes, I mean, like, for example, I've done it, people, we've had people who came here and they said, we want to get married. And they said, can you get us down to Fort Madison? And so I've gone down with them, married them as a notary, we have two witnesses and they're married and,
But
15
it's
minutes
not.
later, that's not it.
Party, that's not
No,
an event.
no.
This is, we have tents, we have a caterer, we have
Right, we
music,
have people there.
we have
Right.
chairs, we have people, yeah, and that's,
Right.
they're plugging in the
Extension
house,
cords from
electricity.
Roberta's house,
That's
right?
right, every time. So I don't care, I mean, it's fine.
I mean, one of the things that we have done is, station, every year I kind of look at those fees and make sure. And there again, we had set that up, years ago, saying what we want to make sure is we want to make sure that the transfer station fees are paying for the tipping fees and the transportation fees and the dumpster fees, but not necessarily taking, putting Nina in there, because Nina's gonna be there no matter what. Those still are covering. I mean, right now, our demo and our trash fees are covering what we're getting rid of. So I don't think we need to change our transfer station fees, but those we have stayed, we've really kind of stayed on top of those. So it wouldn't really be an across the board, let's just,
okay,
double everything, or I think it's, let's look at all of you. I know that with the liquor licenses and with the, that has been $25 for probably as long as Sue and I have been here. So there's no reason that when somebody comes and does a renewal liquor license with you guys,
$100 would
it
be,
can't be, $50 anyways. I mean, they're paying the state over 1,000.
What about Fort George? That's the state's.
That's owned by the state, so we can't.
Charge for that.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay, I'd say, just to get something in, I'd say 200 for a wedding,
Yeah.
an event
yeah,
at the back shore of Fort
I
Madison.
think when we did our wedding at the museum, I think it's 2,000 or 3,000 for that facility.
So,
Yeah, I pulled up their brochure online. It's $3,000, but it's use of the kitchen,
yeah.
use of the bathrooms.
Oh, yeah.
It's use of both sides of the street. They also had,
They-
what was it, 10 tables and 50 chairs.
And they also have people who clean up.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
Yes,
it's pretty
yes,
nice.
and there's somebody there, I mean, my niece had her wedding there, and there's somebody is there at all times, so if something comes up, like if the toilet's all of a sudden plugged and
You're-
oh my
you're
God, the
good.
toilet's plugged, they take care of it.
Yeah, so I think 200 is fair.
Yeah,
just For Fort Madison.
Yeah.
I'm fine with getting a liquor license.
Yeah.
Up to 100.
Yeah, I would do a
We
100.
get a lot of pushback.
Listen,
Well,
And then there's also
You can look at the profit on liquor.
the off premises license are currently $10. Those might be pushed to 25.
Okay,
You guys know, does that smell like it's burning or anything? Well, no, it smells, no, alright, could just be my sinus.
It's like-
Well, I'm just thinking, I don't want it to like burst into flames like an airplane turbine and it could have prevented it.
Yeah, you don't want to, we don't even want to go there. All right, so
I
that's.
got new fire extinguishers on already.
And you don't feel like we need to raise the transfer station fee?
I don't think so.
is it $5? It's $5 for the ticket?
Trash stickers are there $1 for the small bags up to 15 pounds and $2 for the up to 35. And then demo is based on the,
No, the demo, listen, she walks over and she says,
She's great.
Right,
but,
because
I mean,
it's- there is a list. There's a whole list of, if it's a mattress, it's one amount.
Yeah, oh yeah, but
Yeah.
if we increased it. Could we use the extra revenue toward putting the bathroom in at some point? Like, is that a possibility?
I mean, well, what would happen is you would have additional revenue,
Mhm.
which would mean there would be less from taxation that would be paying for the transfer station.
Right.
So then you would use that to
I
go.
think, listen, not having a bathroom there is just,
It bugs me.
it really bugs me
It
too.
bugs me. So why don't we up them to
To 2 and 5.
$2?
5, I would do 2 and 5.
You are gonna get people who are gonna do roadside dumping, and
Oh, really?
that will be,
How about two
right
and three?
now, there is people who don't, I mean. If people see the gate open, they will drive up in there and get rid of their trash when nobody is there, so they don't have to pay the dollar.
It's amazing.
You get people who will, the trash cans down there, they will stuff
I
their
know.
bag into the little hole so that they don't, I mean.
We had at our
So you
business,
want, I mean,
2 and 3, maybe. What do you think? No?
you can talk about it. I mean, I think at the select board meeting, I think. So trash, 2 and 3.
we had to put locks on our dumpsters. Because so many people in the summertime, once the Airbnb kicked in, you know, they.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's so sad. Well, I know that. That when we were talking about putting trash cans out at the back shore, that was an issue that we wanted to make sure we got something small enough, that they couldn't stuff the whole bag in there and.
Right, yeah. So I mean, we've had, the marriage, birth and death, as I said, those are set by the state. Plumbing permits are set by the state. If you look at the liquor and the amusement license, I mean, that's $1, that's $100 already for an event. I mean, I
mhm.
think that's
That's fine.
reasonable. Building permits, that's something that you're gonna be looking at. Plumbing permits are set by the state, so we don't change that. Trash stickers, you're already looking at about $2 and $3 per bag. You're having the harbor looking at mooring and docking and boat ramp fees, right?
Right?
I mean, our current photocopy is 20 cents a copy. To use the photocopier, I mean.
How many copies, how much have people come and use them?
It's not a ton, but, you get the little old lady who comes in once a
Then it's
year to
what maybe,
do her.
I mean, it's not gonna,
To do
say,
her
even
taxes.
if you raised it to 30 cents at the end of the year, maybe it's gonna be $100, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Sure, let's raise coffee.
What about, when you guys had the conversation about the parking thing? Will that increase fees? That whatever that,
So so their fees are typically built into
our fees,
whatever's charged for parking.
Yeah.
If we were to charge parking fees, if we were to charge parking fees, yeah, our revenue would increase greatly. Derek and I were talking about the first 2 hours are free. And after that, it's whatever, $2 an hour, whatever you get charged
I mean,
for.
everywhere you go now, you pay for
For
parking.
parking, yeah, they suggested a book, I got it, I haven't opened it yet, but it's called something like The Real Cost of Free Parking or something, so I'm gonna read that. Maybe in my surgeon. And
Sounds like a really exciting
it
one,
is,
isn't
it's
it?
one of
I
those
mean,
ones, yeah.
hopefully it's only like 15 pages.
It's like this.
Oh my goodness, that's a
But
lot.
but anyway, but their fees, at least it wouldn't be a huge burden on us.
No, but I mean, if it were,
The main costs.
if it increases income to the town,
Yeah,
then it's a good thing.
yeah,
And it's actually doing two things. It's dealing with the parking problem and it's increasing revenue.
it's a lot more technical. What we have to do as the parking enforcement officer, it's a lot more technical than what we do now, but.
So, and then how many hours would that parking enforcement officer need to be working?
Well. I haven't figured that out.
I mean, because,
I don't know, I think it could be,
It could be.
it depends really, because
Yeah.
they don't have to go far to figure it out. Unless they really go out on the journey, so.
but I mean, is it something that they need to be, around fairly regularly? And if so, then I mean, is that?
Let me use this as an example. We had our meeting yesterday. It was in a building, and it was a big municipal parking lot that used to be free. Now it's a paid parking lot. There's a sign that says paid parking. You go to some machine, you buy the thing. They probably had, I was there too long and I didn't get a parking ticket, so clearly they weren't checking it every 2 hours. But you know, I did pay the $4, I mean, it wasn't expensive, but I did pay the $4 for the 6 hours or 50 cents an hour, or whatever it was. And so, you know, if the parking attendant was, let's just to say hypothetically, they're kind of around 4 hours a day, I'm picking a number. And we have the gadget, it's creating income.
Well, this thing was, and like, part of the way they do, that communities make revenue is. People who live in the community, if you live here year round, maybe for $20 a year, you get a parking permit. If you're here seasonally, that parking permit may be $50.
Right.
If you're, and so, and then we can do a winter parking for MMA students if they wanna park on the streets or whatever.
I love it.
They pay $50 or whatever to park on the streets. And all of that is by.
So you're a tourist, you happen to be in Castine for a day.
Right, you're a tourist,
So
there are signs
Yeah.
that say, first 2 hours is free.
Yeah,
After that, download this app. Right, put in your license plate and.
that's what the thing was yesterday that I did.
That's what it is, that's where it kind of is everywhere. I don't know if we.
Well, we didn't go over it yesterday. We put it on hold.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it here, we didn't.
No, I know that, but I'm just, I mean,
Yeah,
since
that's
we're,
what you
since we're,
thought,
since we're
yes.
talking
Yeah.
about income,
That's what you
I
said,
mean,
yeah.
let's just call the,
I mean, are we thinking this is gonna be in place in the next 30 days to be able to include this in on here? Or are we
No.
thinking that this is something that we look at the next year?
Yeah, we don't know.
Then let's move
Let's
on.
move on.
okay, thank you.
Right. Because we still gotta figure it out. Plus, he did mention, just so you know, that we might wanna at least get one little kiosk for those that, like, people that don't understand the
Yeah.
app
Oh,
or
and there's
anything
gonna be
else.
people, I mean, there's.
Like, that aren't smartphone savvy,
Right.
they can't do that.
Yes, okay, so we'll move on. Okay, Karen, what are we doing now?
All right,
So we
I mean-
got, they changed the library? budget?
the only thing they did is they updated their donation, they had this, because they used to get $9,000 from the Friends. And then, of course, the Friends aren't doing the book sales anymore, and so initially they had said 0.
Now they said.
So I talked to Nick and I said, I don't think this is realistic, but you guys do get donation, I mean, people write checks for donations, so we went through what he received like last year and this year outside of it. And then he said, yeah, let's add $2,000 into there, which of course takes a little bit off of, you know, I mean,
I mean,
if we keep the 60-40 mix, then it
Yes.
keeps something off of
I just have to
each
say,
end.
that considering all the pressure on the town, like if you look at how tight this budget is. I mean, the only area in the whole budget where I just see like, it's just like a red flashing light is the library, because they, if we gave them nothing. And they continue to make a 6% return on their money, and you look at the budget, that endowment will keep growing forever without our money. And I just feel like there are so many areas of need. You know, that
So
like,
that'll be a conversation for the
Monday.
third.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so moving on. What do we have?
You know, again, we need to figure out what we're gonna do with the traffic ordinance officer. I mean, we have, just so you know, since January 1, quite a few more tickets have been issued and we have taken in more income. I mean, not,
Quite a few more. 50, 100?
no, and I mean, we don't wanna be having that many. I mean, and if you go down over Main Street, do you really see that as a quagmire? I mean, I don't. I see open
I don't.
spots
No,
all the
you
time.
know, so that's this year.
And you gotta-
Right, that's where the problem is.
And I think
is
that's
up
where the
there.
problem is, and I think Scotty is going there.
Yeah.
And I think
Nobody's
that's
parked there
where-
when I came in today, though.
And that's where a majority of the tickets have been
We're
written.
on Main Street, down the lower Main Street.
No, Wadsworth Cove,
Oh, yeah.
where there's a
Parked
problem.
there, yeah. It's
I mean,
because, they have classes in the red
Yeah.
building there right across the street.
Right.
And they don't wanna park behind the field house because then they gotta walk all the way over.
Or they're late.
Right,
And.
I mean, but my feeling is-
and there's no parking
But-
at Fort George or the country
Yeah.
club.
My feeling is,
So they go, oh, it's right there.
you know, you have a meeting with Scotty, we're looking at the budget. You know, last year you, it cost the town 50, whatever, 13,000, and you brought in two. We, you know, that doesn't work, like, we need you to be paying for yourself.
And I think that Scott is just too busy. Like, he does have a lot of other things on his plate. He is harbor master, he has other things on his plate. So maybe we asked Scott if we would,
Yep.
if he would consider, if he would relinquish this position, and then we can put out a, RFP, whatever, and hire somebody new that has, more time. Yeah, so I'm fine with doing
Okay,
that.
okay,
I'm
So
fine
we'll,
with
so,
this.
so let's, we
I'm
should
fine.
probably leave the same amount in the budget.
right,
Because that's
Yeah.
sort of for,
Yeah,
I mean,
because
you gotta
that's-
remember, that's about 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
Right.
it's-
I mean, what we're
it's not a ton.
budgeting is 10 hours a
Right,
week.
it's not a ton of time, but I just feel like he has so many things going on. And he just doesn't, he doesn't have the time to.
yes, I agree, okay.
Okay, fire department, we're waiting on their.
Okay, and I have not, I did see Jack today and he is working on it.
Okay.
Same on the harbor,
Yeah.
they're working on it. The reserve accounts, you know, if you remember, we went through those last time, and basically the ones we're waiting on are connected to the harbor and the fire department.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna wait until we see what, you know, their requesting is before we really do anything.
Yeah, I mean, because that's where we want it.
In the church, on the fire department, so Derek, you're gonna put a line item in the budget for the owner's project manager and the fees associated with it, and you had said it's gonna be around 400?
385,
Okay.
Karen put 400,
Yeah,
I think.
we put
Just under
400
400, that's in
Remember
the
we
capital
talked about-
reserve, but we're gonna present that as a separate article than the other reserve funds.
Right, no, but what I'm getting at, and I'm just thinking about this long term, that, you know, we're gonna have this number in the budget. And then when we go to bond the fire station, it's gonna be plus and minus the same number. So the town is getting kind of used to it, and if we don't deal with, if we use this year to update the infrastructure. So we've kind of baked in a certain number for the next 20 years into the fire department. We do the review, and actually, one of the things I'd like to put into the budget this year is how much is it gonna cost to do this infrastructure review? Like, if we have to pay the engineer to do that, because what I would like to do is, and whatever it is, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to do that work. We're kind of setting the stage for next year, and we're saying that we're reviewing all of the infrastructure. And we can actually say in the thing, to be prepared for next year's budget. So that,
You know what I would do,
What?
because we don't wanna have like a whole bunch of different accounts.
right,
We already have an account that is called, it's a capital account, which is for roadway infrastructure improvement.
right,
Which doing a review of
Right.
all our infrastructure, that is legitimately part of that.
yeah,
So I think what you could do is when this article is, you know, it comes up for addressing, then somebody could say, I mean, even though, you know, we probably will have a different amount of money, just say, one of the things we are going to be doing is we are gonna be doing this, which will cost us approximately X amount of dollars. Which you can also write it in your town manager's select board report,
right.
in the town report, which comes out before town meeting. But I don't think we wanna have a separate
No, no,
account
no,
of
no.
that, I think we wanna build it
Yeah, yeah.
into.
Yeah, but I am just concerned about kind of hitting people really hard with a huge number next year without,
No, it's wise to start getting people thinking about it, but I agree, Karen, I think, I like the idea that we meet before the town meeting.
Yeah.
We all
we
take,
do a screen,
we each take specific things that we're going to.
Right, right.
Each select board members.
right, and the town manager.
And I'm talking. Okay. So we talked about the additional. Okay. The harbor committee is gonna bring us numbers for the harbor master boat reserve account. County. I like the idea of saying, okay, we got the numbers from Hancock County.
Yeah.
They're really high. Because it's only for 24 hours. It's
Right.
not even, you know, that's
Yeah.
$145,000 for 24 hours, wow.
If you saw my email,
I
I put
did
down, I
see your-
expected
I-
86.
I did see your
You know,
email.
but I understand there's some more, but that was for 24,
And-
that's.
And we say, okay. We are taking it seriously, but we think there are many, like you said, many other measures we can start with that will be much more cost effective.
Mhm.
And so we're going to start by, getting out the trailer and capturing and doing a little sort of
And
in-house study.
we'll
And then-
work out a plan.
Then we'll work on a plan, we'll talk about striping, we'll
Yeah.
talk about whatever it is, we'll talk about
Yeah,
speed tables.
so one of the other concerns that I have, and I always look at the worst case scenario, you've learned that about me already.
It's like,
Okay, it's 2 months from now, the wrong school blows up. Okay, they just, I can't do it anymore. Like the organization blows up, WG, okay, so all of a sudden, we're responsible for this building.
Well, actually, they've already taken the steps to have Whitney licensed to
Right,
run the school.
okay,
And the way they currently have it is if something happened and they need to step out, the rest of their board would be there as a board for Whitney to run the school in case of an emergency.
okay,
They really did create a
Okay.
succession plan.
good for them.
They have a plan. So
Okay,
they're all-
and, I've heard mostly good things about Whitney, but I've also heard some concerns. And I just wanna be prepared
Well, yeah.
that if the school were to close and they basically said, here's the building.
Right, well, no, they've done a really nice job of succession
Okay.
planning. And then I think it's up to the committee that we created to work with Whitney and work
Okay,
with.
so you don't think we need to worry about it? Okay, great,
I.
thank you. No, but listen, I just wanna be prepared for
I think
surprises.
that's good, okay, that's good. So Karen, what else do you got? Capital projects, gee, we have a couple.
Yeah, capital projects, I mean, we went through quite a few last time, but we
Yeah.
still have some holes. One, the harbor improvement maintenance, we're gonna wait on the harbor committee. And then the mooring field maintenance, I mean, I'm guessing the mooring maintenance is gonna stay with the 750. Fire department capital equipment, they will come up with that. The roadway infrastructure improvements, I mean, that's something that we'll come up with, and I mean, whether we come up with it in the very end, to sort of
Maybe.
try and figure out what we're doing. I mean, the backshore recreation area is that, I mean, there is,
They have money.
they do, and I'm wondering if we want to just like, don't do anything this year or do a minimal amount, because, I mean, there's $37,000 to do stuff down there.
Seems like
And,
they could do quite a bit.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, what is your thought, Derek? I mean,
I think we gotta reprioritize some of these and
me
like
too.
defer some of them in order to balance out the budget as best that we can.
Yeah, I think we don't have to put anything into the
Okay.
backshore recreation area.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that we won't in the future, it's just like, we have other competing measures that we gotta
Right,
get.
and if
done
somebody
right
says,
now.
oh my God, you're not putting any money, you can say we have $37,000.
When you look at the
that
whole
we can
budget.
do.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
And we're gonna talk with the library on Monday. Fireworks. Did we decide on fireworks?
we did. We're
Okay.
putting 8 in there so that we have the 10, so that we can have them on the 4th of July. I mean, if we don't do that, we'll be crucified, so.
Yeah, yep.
And the other thing about the fireworks, would it be interesting as people pull into town on July 4th? You have some people out there in red buckets, helping,
Years past, because actually I used to be on the fire department, in years past, we always had fire truck out at, down at the, British Canal.
Yeah.
And we had the boots, we had a fire truck and we had boots, and we got money from everybody. They used to also pass the boots down around the town dock. The only issue is that, you know what, in the summertime, there's so few fire department members here, because most of them are students and they're gone, and they are actually busy, they are working with the people who shoot off the fireworks. So they're working.
Wonder if could we get us some other volunteers?
If we could get a group of people, if we could get, I mean, and,
Maybe the recreation committee could do that. Because, I mean, would it be $5,000? Would it be $10,000?
I think that they would get, I mean, right now, what we've done is we put buckets out, in each of the stores, in the bars, everywhere. And I mean, we typically will get about $2,000.
Okay,
But that's just with buckets out and nobody asking.
no, I just think,
And so I think that if there were some people that were passing the hat, actually down at the town dock while the band is playing, I think people would reach in their pockets and hand out a 20.
yeah.
At the town dock, would you also do it at the town common?
I think you could do it. I know that there's usually in the morning, when the parade is, I think that there usually are some firework buckets there.
The other thing you could do, you could have QR code. You could actually have some posters with QR codes and say,
Okay.
help pay for the fireworks. You take your phone, you go to the QR code, make a donation, $5, and like.
Some people would do that.
People would do that.
People would do that. Okay, I like the idea. Let's talk to the rec committee.
Yeah,
I'll write them a note.
yeah,
Roads,
How much is-
road improvement infrastructure, I think we need to still put like the 120,000 or 121,800 or whatever in
Yeah.
there.
I mean, that would be, right, but that would be my guess too. I mean, do you want me to put in?
I think we should, I don't wanna
120,000.
cut that down, I
No,
mean, that's a
absolutely.
minimum.
All right, let me
You
just
know?
put that in for the,
because right now the
Place
412,
marker.
I mean, I love the idea that that's growing, because when there's an emergency, there's a money to pay for
all right, I'll put 120 in there as a place marker for right now.
it. Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay,
Fort George, we've, that,
it's just the state,
yeah, and that's in case we need, right now, there's $9,600 in there. And, I mean,
what do we need, what do we do at the village? Anything? Nothing.
well,
We mow and
we mow, and that is really what we're doing right now, but the problem is those fortitures are
they're
dangerous.
dangerous.
And and the state's not gonna, we asked the state to pay for it and they're not.
They're being-
So in reality, and I think what we were thinking is, if we could get some money, then we could use that as matching funds and maybe get a grant.
Exactly,
Of course, I mean, what's happening with the grants right now,
there's no. grant.
just forget it.
there's no money.
So we're gonna have to do it, but I'm wondering, have we ever gone as far as to get an estimate for how much it would cost to do some of
I
that?
don't think,
What are we talking about on, you said what? I know we got the little stone building there that has the opening, and then
There's-
are you talking about the little gun turrets in each corner?
yes, on the corner there, and I think there's only actually 2 of them that have openings. So we need to make sure that the one in the back, which is where, home plate was, if anybody ever
Yeah.
played baseball up there.
Yeah.
There's that, which last I knew had like a plywood door on it.
Mhm.
And I mean, I think we just need to make sure that that's at least
Secure.
secure. But then there's the one
Yeah.
on the front left corner,
Uh-huh.
which is actually, I mean,
You could fall
you
down,
could fall down
a
in
child
there.
could fall down in there.
And
Very easy,
that really needs to be,
closed up.
And it may not take an exorbitant amount of money to do that. Public Works might be able to
Right.
come up with
Yeah.
something.
right,
And then 90,000 may cover it,
Is
but
there a tunnel under that?
Yes.
Is that why? So
Yes.
the tunnel's caved in? Is that basically what the deal
I
is?
don't know, I mean, when I was a kid, I mean, all those tunnels were open, I mean, I used to go into them and even as a teenager, I could still get in there. Yeah,
We
Need
probably
friends
finding out
at
the
Fort
wild side of
Knox
Karen.
people for this sport.
enclosed tight spaces, that
There should be no better time to rattle the saber than with 1779 coming up.
Well,
Trying to
you
get
know,
some
and
for
that's-
that, but you know
that's
what,
what
they
we
may
were
say no, that's the whole
we
thing.
were trying it for 2026, it's
Oh,
the
I know.
250th, right? I mean,
Yeah.
okay, yes, we were.
I mean, what
Right.
do you think about leaving the 2 and putting another 2 in there this year?
Yeah.
And then hoping that we can maybe get
Yeah.
something done there, and if we could have, because we
let's do it.
can't,
And I'll.
one of the things, I don't think we can't fill that in, because that's a historic fortiture, we don't
Yeah.
even own it.
No, we
So I
can't.
think the only thing that we can do is we can like rebuild the wood, if we could get some, marine grade, plankings to put in there to enclose it back in again and then build the,
Right,
around it.
yeah.
I mean, I think that's probably the best we could do.
So probably what I need to do is, I need to fill out a FOA request to the Department of Parks and Rec, or whoever it is that owns that. And I need to ask them, who are the other 19 sites that are
Okay.
unfunded, that
Okay,
are underfunded?
okay,
And then we need to
Not
reach
funded.
out. We need to reach out to those select board members and
And
see if
just say-
we can all
Yeah.
get together as a group and say, it is enough. You need to fund us.
all right. So, but in the meantime, we'll think about
You
putting,
have so much
I'll put
faith
in
in the
$2,000 as a
state.
place card in there.
Pardon?
Yeah.
I'll
yeah.
put $2,000
Oh,
in
this
there.
state's gonna do what they did last time and go, yeah, whatever,
Yeah.
but that's.
Well, it is true, that's the
That's
thing, I
what they
mean.
always say.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Well, the sad thing is. Otherwise, it could look like a lot of the other forts that I see, and they end up having just fencing around them and nobody is able to get into those areas because.
Right.
Like part of Fort William and Cape Elizabeth, I'm trying to think, where else, down in Kittery, I think there's one, and they just have a fence around those places that you can't get in. Even down in New Hampshire, to be honest with you, they have some down there, like Fort Independence,
And-
like darn, those would be cool forts to go in, but
I
they're
was,
disrepair.
I was up when I drove down, I was up near, Lee, Massachusetts, and they had some old buildings, and they just had fences around them, it was like, they were clearly historic buildings, and they just.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever looked, not to get off the subject, I don't know if it's in the Maine side or the Portsmouth side, but if you look over there, there's this giant, huge building. Looks like it ought to be an insane asylum or something, that used to be a military jail there. That's been sitting on an island now forever and they won't touch it. Because of the asbestos, people have talked about a boutique hotel, which would be cool, but you also have to go through a. Federal clearance area to get to it, so nobody can do anything with it, but it just sits there. But it's just, it looks like right out of like a good horror movie, insane asylum like
But if-
place that you can
If we
do.
can figure out how to do Fort George, if we can really get the Castine History Partners moving,
Oh,
because
right.
they did get that grant,
Right.
but they did the beginning work.
Right,
No, but I like the idea of just continuing to put money in
We'll
Fort
put the
George.
money in, but we can
Yeah.
really do well, because it's a.
And then-
okay, moving
Or
on.
even
streetlights,
yeah.
we have not gotten back the price yet, because we had put $3,000 in there, which is just for regular, but we wanted to make sure that we had enough money to put those. Switches in first, so we haven't gotten the price yet from him. have we?
Nope, I haven't seen
Okay.
anything
All right,
yet.
so we're
And I
still,
did call up the Hedstrom or whatever it is again. About the other light on Perkins Street to say, hey, before you do
Right.
anything, I need a call back.
right, okay,
So,
So last year we put 15,000 into transfer station facility maintenance.
yeah, we have, that account currently has, just under $45,000, 44,958.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, part of the idea, I mean, there's a couple ideas. One, I think we need to do some work. Don't we need to do some work on that sand shed?
Yeah,
yeah, I was
So
just looking
there's
at that
part
with
of
Joe
it.
today, I'm still not sure.
Yeah.
We can just use some polymer type of
yeah.
proxy type thing, but there's literally a crack underneath like the wood, like that far down, I'm worried that it maybe. We need to look at a bigger solution sooner than later.
So anyway,
Place.
I mean, that's part of that. And then, of course, the other thing is that, the hope is that we could get some money in here that would, be able to drill a well and put a septic in for a bathroom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So do you want me to just sort of pencil in another 15,000?
yeah,
Please.
definitely.
Okay,
Please, so we've got it.
You know what, I just love building up these accounts because it gives us flexibility.
Then we can. do
Um,
something.
all right, we said comprehensive plan, we're gonna put 0 in
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and then we were gonna leave the 1,000 for the survey.
Yeah.
We were gonna leave 2,000 in the
Yeah.
off neck, the dock,
Yeah.
eatery is the 4,000, but
Yeah.
that's what we get,
Yeah,
that he pays to us. 0 in the clock maintenance, because we have
Right,
the operations account, which is back here, and then this was to have the extra work to
Right.
make it so that it could be set from downstairs.
okay, we don't have the solar array consultant anymore, but do we need to put the $2,500 in here for the potential CMP study.
No, because I think they're gonna pay for it, but here's what I've been thinking, I don't know if we should be putting something in there. In case we need to do some type of peer review thing of this proposal from Select. Cause they're doing all this legwork, right? But there may be others say, well, how do we know that revision would be cheaper than whatever the price of this array or that array is? So would we need somebody just to review to make sure we're within the marketable amount for this one?
So are we paying them anything for this proposal?
Huh?
Are we?
Well, no, well, that's why, we would have been paying about $20,000 for
I mean,
this.
listen,
We belong to Maine Power Auctions, so we are getting this as being a member of the Maine Power
Okay,
Auctions.
I mean, Revision did the system at my house. I don't know if they do municipal
Yeah.
systems.
Revision's great, and when we talked, I can't remember if it was revision, we talked to three, and one of them did do a large array. Like exactly what Ted has been doing, and it was like 2.3 million.
Okay,
It was right in the
you know, I
ball.
have to say, I like him. He's very thorough.
It's
He
good.
seems very
It's
professional
his job.
and I don't, you
Yeah.
know,
I mean,
No,
we
I
can
mean,
change
it's
the
better.
name of this just to
It's
straight solar
Yeah.
project.
he's just a
If
solar
we
rep.
think we need to be putting some money in.
Yeah, I would put,
forward with
I'm gonna
10
need legal money to review
I-
contracts.
I would put 10 grand in just to make, you know, just,
Geez, that's a lot.
That's
though.
Is it?
That's a lot.
I don't wanna spend 10, I wanna spend
No.
like, I don't know how much like a little
Five,
review
it
would
would-
be. There's gotta be somebody out there that's an expert, yeah, I'm thinking maybe 5,000 and the whole thing would be. Okay, we just send this off just to do our due diligence.
Okay.
Of like,
2,500, but okay.
alright, well, I don't know how much it's gonna be, I have no idea.
Okay, well, we can.
Okay.
But I'm thinking maybe, Dana Law does that, or something just says, okay, we got this. You already did some
but
estimates, how much
I
you
guess
want
I'm
megawatt.
confused about something. Dana brought somebody here who's actually a solar builder at one point.
Something like that, yeah.
But it was like compared to Tom, is it Tom, this is the guy?
Ted.
Ted,
Ted, Rio.
I mean. That guy was nowhere as professional or as competent, in my opinion, but you know, and
No,
Dave-
Ted definitely knows how to crunch the numbers and
Oh,
he
yeah.
knows about arrays and the. And you know, okay, you can build a 1, but it's not gonna give you 1 megawatt, it's gonna give you 7 megawatt, or 7 kilo, whatever, 7,000 or whatever.
So
it
let me
is.
throw something else out there. If, you know, we'll change this to solar projects.
Yeah,
If we put 2,500 in there, if we find that 2,500 isn't enough, or we're doing some type of a legal review, we could take the balance from the legal account.
okay,
And-
Does that sound
Yeah.
reasonable?
yeah,
I mean, it's all gonna be part of it, I just want, in case we need to.
Yeah.
I mean, this money for the playground is,
No, that was from last year.
That's from last year, so
Okay.
that's 0 this year.
We were,
Okay.
remember, we were just
Yeah.
finishing out the
Yeah.
playground.
So then traffic calming, and I think if we're, you know, I mean, if we're thinking,
Bruce,
you know, if we're thinking, let's try the traffic calming first. We probably need to, and were we,
10 or
It's sort of
15.
I think it was like 5,000 per thing, although I am still liking to try, I was looking. I was over on Howard Street in Bangor and they have both, they have the raised table, but they also have. It's not really a mini roundabout, but basically. In that little spot for like 30 feet, they have widened out the little bit of the road within the right of way. And there's an island type of thing in the middle, so cars have to slow down and take a little turn around, so it's almost like this.
But where would we put that?
I was looking at Terratine and I'm like, could I widen out the shoulders for 20 feet there to pave the shoulders in that spot? I think we could. And then I'm thinking, what we would do then is you would basically put in asphalt curbing or something like in there, like so from the middle of the road like this, right? So it creates a little island and throw some dirt in it.
To me,
And grass it over.
The biggest problem area, in my opinion, okay, is Battle Avenue. I mean, I hear the pickup
Yeah,
trucks.
well,
I
that
mean,
could be a
I'm
spot
sure you
too,
hear them at
but-
your house, you can or you can't. I mean, I can't tell you how often I'm in my yard, and you hear the souped up mufflers.
Once in a while in my yard.
Yeah, but I mean, I would say, and I'm not exaggerating, several times a week. So to me,
And I
go,
was thinking that I really liked the idea, I mean, it really hit me about the street striping.
right,
Me too.
Because it is so true. I mean, whenever I go up Main Street, everybody is right in the middle and yes,
Yeah.
they are using that.
Mhm.
Whereas if there's a stripe in the middle, they are gonna be over
what's gonna
here.
happen there with people parking on the east side of the street though? Like, are you not gonna have the stripe
I
in the
think
middle?
they're gonna be going slower because they're gonna have
I
to be
think-
over the center line.
And I think, I could be wrong, but I actually think that the people who are parked on Upper Main Street are their own traffic calming.
Mhm, they are,
Because if I can try to get down
Yeah.
Main Street, I know I really slow down, I'm very careful, I'm looking for somebody gonna open their door, is
Yeah.
somebody gonna pop out from behind a car? So I think that acts as its own traffic calming, so I think in the winter, if you can't stay right, if you have to drive in the middle, and you
Right.
can't stay right in the line, but I would line Battle
Totally,
for sure.
Yeah.
absolutely,
I
Let me-
would line Perkins. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah,
everybody
absolutely.
drives in the middle of Perkins.
Right.
every day I drive in the middle of Perkins.
Too. I admit it, I do too, but it would be so good because then we would all be conscious.
And then the other
Just me.
the other thing about Perkins is, if we deal with. That whole group of houses with everybody parking on the side of the road, like if prior to the summer. If we send notes to all of those,
Yeah.
those folks and just say. If use your, I mean, and I'm not trying to pick on Marissa and Ben, but sometimes Ben's got his truck and a trailer and
If you
Marissa's
have
got
a
her.
driveway, please use it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think we just send them a letter, we'll pack a letter and we'll say.
so,
They're part of traffic calming, they're part of traffic safety, and now that they have a kid,
Yeah,
so basically, it's still gonna be about the same cost, but it just is a different thing that you gotta do there, and it kind of just slows them down. Then up here further, they have another, right here's the raised table.
okay, well,
So they have
that's,
those two, and they both slow me down.
that doesn't look as, I mean, that's not as, invasive as I thought it would be.
What, this thing?
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be.
Well, because you're gonna pave the shoulders and widen it out in that spot, and then like.
So where
in
were
here-
you thinking? At the
Terra-
top of Terratine?
Yeah, it would have to be in the top, because down near the houses are different, so right before the houses.
So
when
you're
go
actually
down the
thinking on
hill.
Terratine Street as opposed to
Right.
on Battle Ave.
But I bet you could do the same thing in
So is
Battle Ave.
Terratine really getting?
I don't know, is Terratine bad?
I don't know, I was just thinking that's where the kids park, so if they're screaming down Battle Ave, then they're probably, but I don't know. I don't know where the
think so.
complaints
I'm
are, then
not
Battle
hearing
Ave.
anybody.
no, I
work
think
too.
that to me,
You know?
it's Battle Avenue, I agree with you, Perkins Street,
Yeah, I would wanna try.
Yeah.
This is just my.
yeah,
Strike, Battle, Main, Perkins.
yeah,
I don't know.
and then we
about-
said, what
So
I.
you're talking striping,
Strike,
not,
that's-
not,
No, that's striking,
oh.
but then also, like, start there,
Yep,
then our next step, traffic or
I love
whatever tables.
and then the
Right.
strike is, and
we
the,
do a
and
couple on-
with one nuance, Roberta, at the same time we do the striping, I'd like to come up with a slogan, some kind of traffic slogan, and we send it out to all the residents, the emails, Castine is a safe, I'm just saying, Castine is a safe place, help Castine be a safe place.
something,
Everybody
yeah.
gets it, we put some signs out, drive safely, so we do the lines and we do some public,
Right, lines in the slogan,
and then we assess at the end of the
Right.
summer.
and then the next year, we plan to do speed tables.
Yep.
Right,
And I'll get by the end of the
Alright,
summer,
so
I'll
we're
have
not
all the
doing speed
information.
tables.
So
We're
if
just gonna
all we're
strike.
doing this year is striping, then I think
So
that we
it's
could
like-
probably put,
$2 a linear foot, maybe?
So-
Maybe it's a-
I mean, I'm thinking we probably would need to put $5,000 or $7,000 in
I
there.
think, listen,
But it
if
depends
it's
how
$2
many
a
feet
linear
we're talking about.
foot, how long is it from?
I'd have to
from
measure it,
the
I'll
from
go
the
to
golf club,
sports
from
GIS.
the golf club to the end of Battle Avenue? Is that a half a mile? So half a mile is like 2,600 feet,
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah, so that's-
So that's $5,000 right there.
right, yeah.
well,
So-
then maybe we just do that and Main to start.
Well,
Well,
the other
you
thing
don't
is-
have to necessarily
But if
stripe
it-
it all the way through either, I don't think. But you do need double striping, that's
You
the
do need
thing,
double.
cause single striping is not anything.
I mean, Roberta,
That Peter will tell you
I think we do Maine. Battle
Battle
and
and
Perkins, and we, if you want, I can go out with my car and do it, I'll figure how far, but I think it's gonna be at least 3/4 of a mile.
He can pull it up on the
So
GIS.
if we
Okay.
do those three.
Yeah.
And then if we have to figure out a way,
I'm gonna pencil in 10 grand right now.
Thank you.
we have to
Okay.
figure out a way to do the data, to get the data, to
Yeah.
say, okay, yes, it's really working. And then maybe even the next year, maybe we do,
Well,
or at that way.
yeah, and we've got our little thing down there that we were gonna get up and running for this
Yeah.
year.
Right.
So, I mean, that will collect data for us,
Right.
so I think.
I think if you put that on Battle Avenue.
Yeah.
If you put that on Battle Avenue over by the president's house.
Before and after the striping, and we just see.
Yeah, but
is there
I'm
a
telling you, you put it kind of near the president's house.
Yeah.
You were gonna be shocked at the data.
No, I-
So are we talking, we start right at the intersection of Main?
Yes, because that's where the state ends.
Hold on, I wanna just take a look while we're right here.
And could we get DOT to?
So if we did, and then the next year we do Court Street East and maybe State Street. Cause I hear, people always complain about.
Take a
people
look
speeding
here.
on
Yeah.
State Street.
Mhm.
So maybe we do
So
those next,
we go
along
here,
with a speed table or
Right.
two
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Battle.
Or
So we're
maybe
doing
we will see that if the striping has really helped, maybe we don't need speed tables and we just find that we can. stripe.
so how far are we gonna go down Battle Ave?
I think go, I
No, we
mean,
go-
at
I would go
least
to-
to Perkins.
At least to Perkins, I was gonna say to
Yeah.
Perkins. You don't need it past
Geez,
Perkins.
that's down there, okay, so hold on, so we go here.
It's way
Down there.
Oh, it is a ways, that's what I mean, I'm just thinking that is a ways,
You have a wonderful sense of humor there.
I'm just thinking that's
Ways,
further
yeah.
than I expected. Let's see, so we got here,
The whole other side of the
hold
world.
on, and then we go to here.
Oh, he's doing the measurements.
And then we go
He is, yeah.
to
That's awesome.
here.
Derek has skills that we don't even know about.
So wait, so that's 4,400 feet or so from there to
That's 10
there.
grand right there, $2 a foot.
Well, it might be $1.50 or
Whatever,
$1.20,
let's put 10 grand.
but so that's Battle Ave. Are you talking about doing,
Maine.
And we can call.
yeah, going down Main too?
You could probably call the DOT guy and he can tell you what striping is, can he?
Yeah, well, they probably do it. Well, actually, they.
And I mean, would he maybe,
don't know
I mean,
how
I'm
to
wondering
do
if
it.
you get DOT to at least finish doing Battle
I
Ave.
don't know why, see, it won't shut off now. Mine used to shut off.
Is it really good? DOT to do
We
that.
click here,
Is it even striping? It's not striping.
so then we go
I don't think. Is
measure.
Battle Avenue striped in front of the golf course?
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it goes to the intersection.
But you know what's
So
interesting?
how far are we
You know what's
going down,
interesting?
how far are we going down Main?
All the way.
Yeah, but Roberta, what's interesting is that.
That's another
the pickup trucks,
2,100
when I
feet.
play golf,
I can't believe that's.
I
so
don't
long.
see the cars, like, I don't see the pickup trucks up, if they kind of like,
Slowly.
once they get to that, let's say from around, where the fire station is gonna be, down to Perkins, that's like the roadway.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, once they kind of pass Brooke and Gill's house,
Exactly, because that,
start down.
and actually, you know, if next time Gil, Brooke comes, ask her, because she'll tell us, if it's starting there or before then.
And Gil's really concerned because there's like, it's kind of like a little blind hill.
You know, and the other thing that, you know, I mean, you know, Gil's often on his little tricycle, driving around, and, you know, Bruce is always walking in town now. And, you know, he's not as sharp as he used to be, and. Not your Bruce.
Not my Bruce?
No, Bruce, but Bruce, Ben's father.
Ben's dad. Yeah, he walks every day. He walks a ton.
Yeah,
Okay, so we got traffic calming.
72,
Yeah.
51.
So,
So what about, I don't know what, I don't even. Sidewalk plowing, I sent out a little thing yesterday, we can look at it and try to get something back as quick as possible.
I think it's important.
If the town is gonna do it. Karen sent a thing from our contractor who does our plowing. If we need to load the snow with the loader into the dump truck, it's $100 an hour. So, and that's fine, but But we have to decide, do we wanna buy the little machine and hire the extra half-time public works person to do it that way, put the snow in the street and then move all the snow somewhere, or have them.
I mean, I think trying to get residents to do it it's dead.
No, I think.
It's worth, so I think that we decide where we're gonna do it. Like, we're gonna do it on Main Street, we're gonna do it, on both sides of Main Street. Here,
The thing that I said, or the idea that I had was School Street,
yeah,
Court Street,
yeah,
and then on that side of Court Street, the
Yeah.
whole thing, on this side, starting at Emerson
Yeah.
and going west.
yeah,
Because that other, it goes like down.
Yeah.
And I don't know if eventually we want to build that back up and do a sidewalk there, I don't know what we wanna do. And then down Main Street,
yeah.
and maybe, and up Main Street on our side, right?
And so Derek,
Do
this,
we wanna go down Water Street a little bit if we have restaurants open up down there by then,
If the
right? So
restaurant-
I would think that we would probably do that sidewalk off, and then, I don't know who cleans off Camden National in that spot there. They must right now,
That's
right?
private, and that is a private
is-
sidewalk.
it is a
That is
private
why it is,
sidewalk, okay.
it's all bricked,
where's this?
Camden National.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And because Jim Jennings and,
Okay.
Tip McDonald, they own that sidewalk, that's why it's,
Oh.
that's.
But I do like the idea too of putting out the little salt. bin.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, we need to get those once you guys.
So,
go to
but Derek, the gadget that you would wanna buy is not a snow blower, something, it's like a little tractor.
Well,
you sit
it's gonna have, it would have a V plow, a snow blower, and a little thing
But you
for a
sit in it,
stand
you're-
on
you're
it.
not
No,
walking.
stand on the back of
Oh,
it.
you said, okay.
So it's a V-Tech, the other one, it's the only thing that Sean actually put me on to it, it's the only thing that is narrow enough, I think, for our
And
sidewalks.
how much is it?
Without the attachments, I think it's like 18 grand.
So you gotta put 25 in it, plus, so it's gonna be 25 plus the labor.
I'm thinking 25, well, I think Karen can tell me if I'm wrong, but right now, and this has been a snowy winter, whatever. But we have the other halftime person already, so we have two full times a halftime. I'm thinking that halftime somehow supplements us and we can fit it in without adding personnel to the budget.
Yeah,
basically,
we budget for 2.5 people, and right now we have a halftime person that's open. So we could have that halftime.
So basically, all we're talking about a one-time purchase of 25 grand plus the maintenance for the machine. Ongoing. And listen, is this, will
So
this?
$25,000 we're thinking
So,
on there?
here, I'll show you what this thing looks like too, just 25. I gotta find out what the thing, so this is what it looks like, okay? Right, well, it figures.
It's like the Zambonis we used to clean the.
See right here, see this guy's standing up, here, he's got a little bin, but this one he's using the brush.
Yeah,
But really though, when you look at it, you gotta go to, snow management maybe. Let's see if it's down at the bottom. So this is the one on the right, the left's too big, but there are attachments on that when you look at. Of course, it wouldn't be bad to get the brush on it. So they're little, see like this V
Well, if you get the
plow.
brush, then
Cause
you
the
can
V
do
plow
this-
will cut through the heavier snow, I'm thinking, from the
Yeah.
snow plows throwing it up on the sidewalk. But then you'll need to get
Well, if you
the
get the
snow
brush,
blower.
if you get the brush, then in the springtime, we can actually.
Well, you're right, you could do that too, right, right.
Brilliant.
But, so you can get, so you're gonna want this little, well, not on this one, there's a little surround thing here, right, a windscreen, right?
Cause you wanna have
You
them,
want the V plow, you want the snow blower attachment, and you could go with the brush too.
so we need, are you gonna find out?
I
the
actually
pricing
started
for-
looking at pricing a little
Okay.
while ago. I think the nearest person to us is in New Hampshire and there's also Massachusetts.
Okay, so maybe, do
Okay.
you want, are you gonna, why don't you get the pricing for the thing and the attachments that we would need? And then we can put that in.
And we'll.
I'm gonna put 25 in there right now,
Thank you.
and then just knowing
I
that
was
that's
gonna
gonna
go
be a.
down to New Hampshire for St. Patrick's Day weekend, but that's too late probably, so Derry, New Hampshire, that's right in my backyard of where I live, so that's probably where I'll go to MTE. And
Thank you.
and then I'll go talk to them in person, but I think I can get the numbers.
Yeah.
I found them already someplace, so
So Karen, I'm sorry, can we move on to
Mhm.
affordable housing? For the affordable housing acquisition, what have I forgotten?
You told me that, and I think that Dan had said that he thought we needed to get started on something. I mean, and I'll let you know sort of where I am. I mean, I'm thinking, one, there's a lot of irons in the fire. I mean, especially if this budget is done. We need to make sure that whatever we start, one, we can do.
Yeah.
You know, because we don't want to budget for something and then nobody has time to do it.
Yeah.
We also need to make sure that we're gonna do it well,
Yeah.
because there's no sense in doing
Yeah.
something if we're not gonna do it well.
100%.
I'm thinking that this should not be for
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah, I agree. Let's not
Here,
put anything yet.
Roberta, what we've worked out is I'm gonna lead
Dan's gonna start doing housing.
I'm gonna do
Okay.
housing. And so I look at this year, from this year until we do the budget next year, is gathering information,
That's it.
planning planning,
That's
but say, this is project A, this
Right.
is project B,
Perfect.
this is project C.
Perfect.
Next year, when we sit down, I will say, this is something we can do well.
Right, this is what we
Yeah.
need, and this is what we can do, and that'll be fantastic, Dan.
Okay.
Okay, good, so let's don't put anything. this
Okay.
year. All right,
All
all
right.
right, so.
And actually,
And
you
I
know what?
agree with that.
I
because
just wanna say one caveat. Let's just say, and I'm going down the road this year, and I meet some specialist who can, you know, who does this work. And they need a fee to, you know, like, I'm just saying like $5,000 I mean,
You've got to remember that we have $70,000 in contingency.
no, I just wanna.
And so
Okay.
if something comes up, that's what that's for, unexpected expenses. And so then you come to the select board and say, hey, this has come out, do we want to
Yeah.
proceed with this? And
Yeah.
then, you know,
Yeah.
you guys will look at that and say.
Okay.
you know, we
Okay,
can
great.
just-
Okay, great.
And I don't think
Okay.
it'll be that much, and
Okay.
if it is, we'll figure it out. Okay, this is good, Karen. That
Thank
was-
you,
Yeah, I think
Karen,
we're-
you do such a
Thank
good
you,
job
Karen.
with this.
All right.
Thank you so
I think we
much.
filled in some more holes.
Couple.
And,
So Shirley.
Yeah, and then, I got an email from Johanna, and she said that the school, committee is meeting on the 3rd to
Yeah.
do the final vote on their budget.
Yeah.
And then she was gonna ask the school union to, you know, get that to me as quickly as
Okay.
possible, because
Okay.
if I have those numbers, I obviously know, you know, we can meld them with ours to know more of where we are, and then hopefully the harbor and the fire department will also come in.
So
and then we
I
can,
have a question,
Hang on a second.
good.
Oh, is this about budget?
Yes, about this budget.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we're at town meeting, we're talking about the fire department, we've got the 400 grand baked in, okay? And people start asking a lot of questions. You know, how much it's gonna cost, I mean, the second we open the fire department, people are gonna start asking a lot of questions. I just wanna be, I know this isn't a direct budget thing, but I wanna be prepared, when people start asking questions, we have like a scripted answer.
Yeah, well.
yes, and what you have to remember is that at the annual town meeting, and this is by statute,
Yes,
and the moderator is the one who can do it. The only questions and the only conversations are things that are pertinent to the article.
okay, Ken,
And yes, and so if the article is we need $400,000, this is gonna pay for the OPM
yeah,
to get started.
yeah,
You know, I mean,
Right.
we already know where it is. And then if they start saying, well, what's it gonna look like or whatever, this is not pertinent to the article because we're not there yet.
Right.
This is one of the steps
Right.
along the way to get there.
Right.
okay.
And
all
that's
we
the
have
end
to
of
say.
story.
Okay, great.
That's
So we need to really prep her if she's gonna do the moderating again.
Yeah,
To say, like, there's gonna be some sensitive issues and
we should give her a fact sheet
exactly,
for everything.
Exactly.
And I think I sent you a text.
Yeah.
And asked you about a fact sheet because we had talked about.
Right.
We were thinking about doing.
No,
that.
I'm gonna do that.
So that's great. So we should have a fact sheet for all of us
right,
to just.
Exactly.
That we all know, that we all could give the same answer to any.
Exactly.
Question. So we should have a fact sheet.
and I also think that if when we're sitting up there.
Yeah.
and somebody asks a heated question
Mhm.
about an article, we can look at each other and one of us chooses, we could just say, okay, you go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay, I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
second,
Do we want to, and
Derek?
my only question is,
Can you,
There we go, when you adjourn,
we just did.
what time is it?